Okay, here we go. It's the Rachel Holmes podcast. It's the first podcast back 2021 as the UK is just about day one in the third lockdown. Kelly, how do you feel?
Oh my gosh, as we've just said, I feel like this is kind of like Groundhog Day, like deja vu, like we're back again. We did a podcast after the first lockdown. We're doing a podcast now. It's the third lockdown. Like I said to you earlier, I think maybe we shouldn't do podcasts together. Maybe we're jinxing it.
Oh, I think this was inevitable. I think the writing was on the wall. You've got your VIP group, your membership group. What have people been saying? What are people feeling? It's a funny day, isn't it? The day after the lockdown. It's how do you judge the mood of people that you're serving? If you're serving instructors, how are they feeling? And if you're serving general public, how are they feeling? So what's the general mood in your VIP group?
I've got such a mix. So I've got a lot of instructors and I've got a lot of participants. So I have to be really kind of just aware of who I'm kind of catering for and who I'm talking to. I mean, I put a message out into our WhatsApp group and our group last night, and I said, look, we're here for you. We understand that a lot of you are going to be, struggling currently at the moment with regards to the fact that the schools have now been told to shut. You're going to have to do homeschooling. You're going to have to juggle that alongside your work at the same time. It is going to be a challenge. But one of the best things you can do is control the controllables. And the things you can control is your own health, and just to kind of look after yourself and use this as a sanity group more than anything, to keep sane and to keep in contact with other people. I've got quite a lot of members who are actually on their own, completely on their own. They don't live with anybody. They're not in relationships. Their family don't live with them. And they're literally, all they've got is our group. So for them, I mean, it can feel very, very, isolated. Christmas felt very isolated, but they got through it. So I said, look, if you've got through that, you can get through anything.
Yeah, that's so true. I think now everybody's used to it, used to the idea, as we're filming this in mid-afternoon of the day. I think people are getting used to it. You can see on social media, we're rallying. I did a chat this morning in the supporters group and everyone was pretty positive, seeing the opportunities. I saw a blog this morning that Amazon are expecting 3 to 4 times the amount of traffic and business from the UK Amazon site, because so many people now are scrolling online, looking at things. So it is a good opportunity. It's a strange one to say opportunity, but I think it is chance. If you didn't build your business online as effectively as you perhaps could have done in the first lockdown, for whatever reason, didn't get the tech organized, didn't get yourself together fast enough, had everything else to contend with, then this is the time where actually the hard work's been done. We've worked out the tech. We know the difference between Facebook Live. We know the webcams. We know StreamYard. We know how to deliver our classes now online, times, what people enjoy, the marketing. So we're a lot further forward than we were in March. So it is a good time to be a fitness professional. What's your thoughts on the online side for fitness?
Yeah, totally. I think there's a lot of instructors who feel like they missed the boat, and they feel like, I didn't do it when we went into the first lockdown. I now feel like it's too late. And my advice to them is, it's not too late. Actually, you can jump in right now, obviously become one of your supporters, but like you said, all the hard stuff, all the graft has been done. We made all the mistakes back in March and in April when we didn't know how to use Zoom, and we didn't know how to get all the music tech right, and we didn't know how to stream properly. We've done all that now. So literally it's like, right, this is what you do if you're going to do Facebook Live. This is what you're going to do if you use Zoom. This is the webcam you need to use. This is the music system that you need to use. This is all the tech. It's literally blueprinted for people. So in a way, if you didn't jump on when, we jumped on in March, April time, Absolutely, this is a perfect time to actually, bring about your virtual studio. As long as you've got a good space, and I do think that's quite important. I know
Mm.
that's quite hard for a lot of people. I've been looking at people online, and some people have got no space at all, and they're kind of having to push everything out of their living room or everything out of their kitchen and things like that. And I know that's tough. I mean, we're very lucky. I've got a conservatory, you've got a studio. We're lucky in the sense that we've got that space. When I think back to kind of maybe a couple of years ago when I was living in my old house, even though that old house was bigger essentially than this house, I wouldn't have had anywhere apart from my living room to
Yeah.
actually film. Nowhere with a nice backdrop, nowhere with, and I'm like, God, what would I have done? How would I have kind of tweaked it or changed it? And certainly if I was still living in my old flat, I would never have been able to do this, never, because I wouldn't have had anywhere to film.
You'd have been in the garden, you would have been on the street, you would have been doing it on this high street, wouldn't you? Yeah, I think that is a consideration. I do appreciate that. And then I know as well as my little boys got older during the lockdown and then into this one, he is everywhere. So as soon as I go live, he's behind me. As soon as he's there all the time. He wants to get involved. He's waving to the people and he's got getting his hand up, and yeah, he's kind of, so it's difficult. And I think it's hard as well if you have got, it definitely is, if you've got children and a partner and you need a bit of you time to think. I know before ever I go live, even just you and I going live now, I just need that 5 minutes of solitude just to get my head, my thoughts straight. Even after all these years of teaching, teaching at night, even on Zoom, I always need that little bit of quiet time where I can just think, okay, what am I going to open with? What am I talking about? What mood am I in? And when you've got a busy household, that's difficult, especially if you've got little people going, Mommy, just before you're about to go live. So there is a lot of challenges. There are a lot of challenges. And I don't think by any stretch of the imagination, it's easy. And every day seems to present us with a different challenge or something else to consider. So it's definitely not easy, but all things considered, we're not in the hospitality business. We don't have a restaurant. We don't have pubs. We are in an industry that is booming. Yeah. So there is a lot to be thankful for. And every single person in the world needs health and fitness right now. So it's a very, very important industry to be in. And although there are challenges, I think we are in a very good space.
Yeah, I mean, I wake up every morning and I'm so thankful. And I say that to Jason all the time. I'm like, we're so thankful, one, that he's got a job and that, he can still do his job and also virtual clients and coaching and things like that. And I've still got, my work. It could be very different. If I was a hairdresser, and he was a bartender, it would be a very, very, very different world that we would be in right now. And I think a lot of people are having to change maybe what they're doing and reskill. And I know we're getting lots and lots of inquiries about people who want to be instructors, who want to get involved, and seeing that actually, you can run classes online, you can do all of the stuff virtually, you can do one-to-one clients, and literally every day we're getting new inquiries, aren't we, about Pilates instructors, fitness Pilates, group exercise trainers, kettlebells, everything like that.
I mean, just looking at my phone while you and I have been talking today, 2 messages from two different people that are interested in doing the level 3 Pilates. They used to go to Pilates. They can see that they've got friends and family who are interested in doing it. They want to do it online. They're quite savvy with social media, so they can see that there's an inroad there. So, I mean, and we're seeing that every day with the kettlebells at the weekend. I think it was interesting. We put the kettlebell out there, didn't we? And we got, a reasonable amount of interest. But I think as it got closer to the course, people actually realized that the gyms may be closed for quite a considerable amount of time. Then the next option is going to be to train with kettlebells. If you've got limited space, limited equipment, then kettlebells are just going to blow up online. And I think that was just dawning on people just at the weekend that potentially we would be going into a lockdown scenario, and that would be, again, it's being able to not look into your crystal ball and see the future, because none of us can, but just the short-term future, and listening to what people are saying, listen to what your friends are saying, family, reading on social media, how are people feeling, gauging your audience, and you can actually preempt what may be coming and what people need. I mean, the kettlebells this weekend was phenomenal, wasn't it? Such a great course.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of kettlebells as well is not only can we deliver it virtual as a course, but you can deliver it virtual as a class. So it's a win-win situation where we're at the moment. And these learners are completing very, very quickly. They're getting their assessment videos in, their session plans in, and they're rocking and rolling, and then, getting their classes out there, and they're, they're really popular. A lot of people, we said about it on the course, me and Jason were laughing, because we were sort of saying, this is a kettlebell. A lot of people use it just as a doorstop. Because no one really knows what to do with it. And a lot of people have them in their houses, and they might have got it for Christmas, 5-6 years ago, have never used it properly. Maybe they wanted to join a boot camp, never used it properly. So they've got these pieces of kit. Like I know you did. Did you do stability ball last night?
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
Stability ball, have no idea what to do with it. Literally been under the stairs for as long as they've had it, or in the loft.
In the garage.
Pieces of kit that people want to know how to use, and that was the beauty of doing the kettlebells at the weekend with the learners. They were, they grasped the exercises so quickly, even though they were, there was literally only a couple who'd ever used a kettlebell before. Everyone was quite brand new to it. Some people had, one lady turned around and said, literally, my own experience of kettlebells is getting out of the box. That's all I've done. And by the end of it, clean and a snatch and everything. It was fantastic.
That's good to know. It's good that it's amazing that people we can pick up these skills so quickly, perfect it, put it out there, and then turn it into a class, and then turn it into an income generating class, which is phenomenal. Not many people can do that. Enjoy something, do the course, and then use it straight away. So I think that's a massive bonus at the moment, that people are able to, fit pros are able to think, okay, yeah, I can see that opportunity. I'm going to jump on that train, and then I'm going to put it out there. And actually, a lot of the kettlebell guys just put it out there on their social media before they even booked, and said, anybody interested in a kettlebell class? They would get all the comments. Yeah, I'm interested. In fact, people were even signing up to their courses before they'd even done the course. So it's a win-win, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And the thing is, if you're an instructor and you've got your own awareness of lifting weights, if you've trained yourself, or maybe you've done classes like body pump, things like that, you've got such a good understanding of how to lift anyway, that it's very, very easy to transfer that knowledge into lifting a kettlebell. There were people on the course that may have done CrossFit, and again, they don't teach CrossFit, but they've done CrossFit as a participant, and then they could transfer that information over to lifting the kettlebell.
Yeah, totally. Okay, switching, let's talk about promotion. Always the big one. Is the one that I get in my inbox all of the time on all of my groups. How do I get new people in? You've had a busy weekend. I mean, we're coming off the back of New Year anyway. And you and I both have been heavily visible on social media, which I think is very much what you need to do, so people can see you, they can find out what you're all about, they can have a little taster of what you do, offering freebies. I know you did a couple of freebies on Christmas, on New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, which again would be generally a dead time. I don't think I've ever taught on New Year's Day. I've taught on New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, but I don't think I've ever taught on New Year's Day before, ever. And I went live, and it was probably the busiest live that I've done throughout the whole of December, because what were people doing? People were just scrolling with nothing really else to do. So it was a good opportunity to promote. I also noticed in my Lift Lean group, I had a really big uptake this time, bigger than any uptake I've ever had in the Januaries before. It usually comes to me about mid-January. I don't usually start my Lift Lean until probably second, third week, even in January, because it takes people a time to put the decorations down, put the chocolates away. But this year it was bang out of the traps. People were booking and signing up, getting rid of the chocolates and getting ready to get started. And it has been a very, very busy few days. How your promotion around that, how did you find it? What was working for you over the Christmas and the New Year break?
Well, I did, like you said, I mean, I did a couple of lives. I did a live on New Year's Eve where I did a fitness Pilates class. I streamed, because I use StreamYard like you. I streamed not only in my VIP group, but in my free group as well at the same time. So I streamed that class. I did put in my free group a couple of free classes in there as well, leading up to Christmas. I did 12 days of Christmas for Fitness Pilates, and I did a Santa accumulator, and I gave them those free workouts as well to kind of get the ball rolling. And then I did a sweat class on New Year's Day at 10:30, which I've never ever taught in my life, as in teaching on New Year's Day. And I did that again. I streamed it in my VIP group and in my free group, and that generated a lot of new business, which was brilliant. I then obviously did my usual promotion with regards to Instagram and Facebook and things like that. But I also did a MailChimp mail out on Sunday night, which again, I listed my full timetable, everything, the classes that I was running. I run masterclasses like you do, and I include my VIP, and I definitely think this attracts more people to my group because they get my masterclasses included. So you can do a masterclass with me for £7, or you can have the whole week for £9.99 and get the masterclass included. So I give quite a lot away for a very limited amount of money. And I know we've spoken about this in the past, but for me, definitely during this whole pandemic, it's always been about, I would prefer to keep my prices low and my numbers high than try and push people for money, more money, and only have a few people in my group. It's much better to be able to cater. And the other thing I did as well, and I don't know whether or not you'd agree with me on this one, but it definitely kept everybody in my group over Christmas. I gave everyone a free week in between Christmas and New Year. So they had my timetable, my VIP timetable, my classes that I delivered, and no one paid any money over Christmas. It was a free week as a thank you to signing up to my VIP. So I gave them back something, because I normally would have put a free class in their Christmas card anyway. So I just thought, well, it's not costing me anything. I might as well just give it.
No, that's it. I definitely agree with you. I think you've hit the nail on the head, and we've been talking about it in the supporters group. Is at the end of the year, a good idea is to do your expenses. What do you actually need to live? Pay your car, pay your mortgage, buy your groceries. We're all living quite lean at the moment, probably not buying very many clothes, maybe kit. And trainers possibly, but we're not going out for meals or restaurants or drinks, so expenditure is a little bit lower. So if you work out what you need per month and then work out what your monthly recurring revenue needs to be, and making your VIP, you'll call yours VIP, mine's my studio live, my membership, whatever your name is, whatever you call it, and then working out your numbers from there. So if you need £500 a month to cover everything, you need X amount of people paying you £40 a month or £30 a month or £10 a week, as yours is, but knowing those tangible figures. And then everything additional, so whether you do an additional boot camp or you do a special beginners group or you do some extra masterclasses, I think they're all extra. That's brilliant. They add to your top line revenue. But ultimately, your foundational piece of your business needs to be that monthly recurring income, because we've never been able to do this really in fitness. Our incomes have always been, when you were at Burwell Fitness, some weeks you would take this much, some weeks you'd take that much. It would be high, it would be low, it would be seasonal. People stopped coming, they stopped the direct debit, they stopped paying their class punches, however we all did it. And it was always hard, and I think it leads to a lot of stress and insecurity. You don't know where the money's coming from, where the next month's money come. But when you build your business on this monthly recurring income model, I think that it gives you a lot of peace of mind, because you've got 50 people or 20 people or 100 people or whatever it is. And then you can always set yourself a target. So if you set yourself a target of 20 people in January, and then maybe mid-February, you're going to 25 and 13, you write it down just like you would in a sales office if you were selling houses or selling cars or selling memberships in a health club. I remember all of the health clubs I've ever worked in, the sales office always have that whiteboard, how many members, and they're always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're knocking them off. And I think that's really key, to build your business on that model, that monthly recurring revenue model. I think it's very important. And I would imagine, Kelly, that that's really helped you with your cash flow, bills, managing the house, car, the whole thing.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, when we first went into lockdown, I said to Jason, well, he said to me, how many members do you need? How many members do you need in your VIP to cover what you were earning from all your classes that you were doing in clubs and from Burwell Fitness? And I worked out how many members I'd need per month or per week to stay with me continuously, to be able to, you know, make the same money that I was making when I was doing all my live classes. And the beauty that happened was obviously that I could branch out to all these other people that maybe had trained with me in St. Lucia, maybe had trained with me at La Santa, maybe had trained with me when I've taught in London, or, you know, when I used to teach in Bury and places like that. And all of a sudden, I got a lot more people who wouldn't normally be able to come to me on a regular basis. And I was just so thankful that, you know, I was able to notice, you know, how many people I needed. And then I knew essentially what I needed to do. And just like you've said there, if you run then extra masterclasses or do one-to-ones or do anything like that, you know, if you then see that you're not making your margin, you then add these things in to be able to boost your top end.
Yeah, it's a really, I think it's a really important piece in our armory at the moment when you're looking at your business, looking at your offerings, looking at diversifying your offerings, whether you do PT, small group, whatever you're doing, and you are online, ultimately having that monthly membership is the key. It's the key to long-term success. It's the key to peace of mind and stress-free living. If you know you've always got your expenses covered, then anything on top of that, I think that's a bonus. Your top line revenue, that's a bonus. So I really do encourage instructors to look at their business model, and don't be afraid to change it. Don't be afraid to, if you have been doing pay-as-you-go, or you perhaps haven't been very clear about what your membership actually is, what you're offering, how many classes, are you doing live, are you doing pre-recorded, whatever. And everyone wants to, I think everyone should put this together that fits their lifestyle right now, their kids, their home, their goals. Everyone will be different. Some people probably won't do as many classes as you do a week, or I do a week, or someone like Mike Bynes does a week. They might do 2. I had a lady yesterday only does 2 a week. She's got 3 little children under 4, 2 a week, brilliant. And her membership is £35 a month. And she's still got 40 people paying £35 a month, and she's doing 2 classes because that fits in with her lifestyle right now. It's where we're all at. And I think if you have got little children at home, and you're still ambitious, just know that this time will pass. Just get all the ideas, listen to all the podcasts, write everything down, enjoy your children while they're little, enjoy doing what you're doing, knowing that this time will pass and you'll be able to build the type of business that you perhaps really want to build in the future. But it's about creating the business model for you right now.
Yeah, totally. And I also think, don't worry too much if you have got little people at home, or you have got pets that kind of disrupt your lives. You know, we all want everything to look amazingly perfect, and we want all of our videos to be, you know, outstanding with no interruptions. But every time I go live, I can guarantee that either the Amazon man or the DHL man or the, you know, the FedEx man knocks on my window and he's like, I've got parcels for you. And I'm having to like wave at him and tell him like, yeah, put them outside. And everyone's always laughing because they're like, I can guarantee Kelly gets a delivery during this live class. Or Bentley comes in and sits on my mat and then, you know, disrupts the whole thing. And I thought when I first started doing virtual, all of these things worried me. All of these things stressed me out. Just like, you know, obviously with you, with Logan, you know, worrying that he comes in and he's waving at everyone. But people love it. They love to see Logie. They love to see Bentley. They love, you know, the realness. But the other thing I would definitely say to people, if you've done pay as you go, maybe in the past, maybe think about doing a weekly or a monthly subscription, so that, you know, rather than worrying about how many people you get per class, you then essentially will know. I think someone's at my door.
There you go.
Someone's at my door. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna. Bentley, calm down. I've got a man that's not going to let me go. Hold on a second.
That's all fine. I'll take it. It's fine. And that's exactly what happens. Somebody comes to the door, the dog starts to bark, your kid runs in and out. My little boy ran in, ripped all my banners down. He had a golf ball the other day, was batting it it was just about to go through the window. So that was all very fun. It's just life right now. It's just real. Oh, I think it would be boring if everyone was so perfect. It really would.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And the other thing as well I was going to say was about the timings of classes. Please don't feel that you've got to do hour classes. It doesn't work for a lot of people. It won't work for you. If you've got little people at home, if you've got pets at home and stuff like that, you know, an hour's class is a long time to require everyone to leave you alone for that hour. And also for your participants as well, they might not be able to commit to an hour. My most popular classes are 30 minutes. They're 30-minute classes, the express classes. They're the ones that everyone jumps into. You know, the other thing that I found really worked as well was the fact that if you're going to do things, people want to be able to do them on catch up. They might not be able to do these live. So if you're going to do things via Zoom, you're going to need to send out the recordings so people can catch up. I do all mine via Facebook Live. So essentially those recordings are there. They can jump back in any time that they want to. They can do things on catch up. And that's been a massive selling point.
Yeah, I think it really is, because you're right. Everyone's situation is really different. We were saying this morning on the supporters, lots of guys were saying, well, I've got to do homeschooling, so I'm going to push my classes earlier, 6:30, 6 o'clock, and I'm going to do later. I mean, I do that. I do an early 6:30 class, and my master classes in the week are 8 o'clock, 8:30 usually, when Logan's in bed, house is quiet, and then I'm ready to go. And that really works. It works for my situation, and it works for a lot of people that jump in. So you've got to create the business model that suits you and your lifestyle and your goals. You really have. And there's no one template. However, caveat, I think for less stressful living is to create a subscription, a monthly membership, weekly membership, so that you know that, give or take, of course, people are going to disappear and you might be down 2 up 2 or down 3 up 2. It's always, you know, there's a little bit of a balance at the end of the month, but you know pretty much that your expenses are covered. Then I think that makes you, it's a great business model to have, and it really does give you peace of mind going forward. Do you want to add anything else on the membership, sort of monthly recurring revenue before we finish, Kelly?
Mine's a weekly recurring, and I think people like that because they don't know what's happening from week to week. So essentially, if all of a sudden we come out of lockdown and everyone goes back into going into live classes, they've got the option to stop and start whenever they want to. Mine is $9.99 for 7 days. And then again, it kind of just rolls as a subscription. And of course, if they want to stop, they can stop anytime they want to. And they'll be in the group for those 7 days they've done that for, and then they leave. I think that really works for a lot of people as well.
I mean, even with you and I planning masterclasses and training courses, we only really we have an overall monthly plan of what we're going to do. But we work, my masterclasses, I only work 7 days in advance max, because things change, and I want to feel the mood, and I want to feel with what people need, and I want to listen to my audience. If you're planning weeks, months in advance, I think that you sometimes miss the mark because you don't read what people need. So the short lead time, you know, we could come up with an idea for a class today. I could get it out tomorrow, tonight even, and you and I could be teaching it tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And it would probably have the same amount of people if we left it another week and promoted it for a week or a month. I think if people like an idea, the short amount of promotion time is, again, you got to be quick for sure. But I think that at the moment, that is what's really working.
Totally.
Cool. All right, then. Well, we're back. We've done our first. I've enjoyed it. I love doing the podcast. We will be back regularly. I will not let the podcast go. It was one of those things that just had to go at the end of the year. I just didn't have any more time. But we are back. I'm making a commitment to do a podcast every week. So, Kelly, thank you for being the first guest of 2021. Who else could it be but you, Ms. Reed? Thank you so much for your time. And we will both see you on social media, I am sure, in a masterclass, in one of our training events soon. But stay cool, stay positive, keep smiling, and let's just be grateful for everything that we have and what we have to offer.